Morning, everyone. It's been a while. Working a lot lately. Had massive overtime during the holidays and people sick, and this is actually my first true week off since before Christmas. So I'm gonna try to get started on a couple more projects. Still waiting on parts on that Sansui AU717. Got a Pioneer Spec 2 in the lineup waiting to get done. A Marantz model, I forget which one that is now. Is that one down there? Model 18? Model 19? I can't quite see that far. So anyway, but got a 2230 over there, but I have a 2275 in right now. So I figured I'm going to start on this one. At least let's see what's wrong with it and what we might need to order. But yeah, Marantz 2275. There's a quick look at the outside, and I will get the wood case off and we'll take a look at the inside. Thought I would just show, just in case no one's ever taken these out. What you do is you flip them over on the back, and you usually have 4 feet. This one only has 3, so I'll have to find a third or fourth foot for that. And you also want to make sure you use the proper length screw. You do have to go a little bit longer from when you have just the metal case and the feet in, but when you switch back, go to a shorter screw, because these longer screws could end up running into one of your boards or something like that and doing some short out or some damage. So a little bit longer screws with the wood case, shorter screws without the wood case. But what you do is you take them off, and then the unit will slide out the front. So you got to balance it really nice. Make sure you're not dropping it. It slides all the way out, and then you're able to work on it. So I will get it out and I'll show you what that looks like. Here's the unit outside the wood case. I'm not sure if you really see, but look at back where all the air vents are at, and you can see the dust, and then see how clean the wood grained cabinet veneer. I'm not sure if that's veneer or exactly what it is. The mid-70s cabinets came with that wood grain style. And I think later, I'm not sure what year they changed. I can't remember all that stuff, but they went to the black style. So that's one way you can kind of tell what year about your Marantz is from. I think the 2275 is from 75-ish till 77, maybe 78. I think it was like 75 to 77 they produced this model. Of course, the 22 is the model or series line, because most of them started with that. Then they had the 2300s, then you had the 25, the 26, stuff like that. And then your second number, the 75, is your factory given wattage, 75 watts per channel into 8-ohm speakers. Normally they put out more than that, and we'll look at that once we know it's up and going again, and so you can see exactly what it puts out. I think that's really about it. Some good pointers. Keep a notebook. I keep notebooks when I start working on stuff, because I'm going to need parts. So I write all my parts down in there. Things like that. Print out some numbers, reference numbers for setting your voltages, your biasing. That's always great help, because you can't just go in guessing on this stuff. Print out the schematic of the whole unit, so when you do have problems, you can start tracing down signal paths or voltage paths, and let's see what we have wrong. So I'll get this opened up. I was talking about the dust. Yeah, the dust, it gets inside those vents, and dust becomes like an insulator. At least that's the way I look at it, and that can cause extra heat and stuff. So you need to make sure you I know it's hard when I'm not running my receivers. I put a little towel over top of them, because sometimes it might be a week or two before I'm back to running them, and as we all know, we have dust in the house. So I just get those microfiber towels that you can get at the car store or Walmart in the automotive department. Get those 2-footers, and I lay those over top of my receivers to try to keep dust out the best I can. I know when they're on, it sucks it in, but try the best you can to keep the units clean and without the dust inside. So, all right, I'll be back. Okay, I have the top off. It's just 4 screws, 2 on each side. Keep all your parts in little bins. So like I put all my cabinet parts into one little bin, then I'll put other parts into other bins so I don't get them all confused and stuff. But first glance, it's not overly dirty in here. I mean, a little dust, some little hairs, you know, it could be from cats, dogs, who knows, everything floats around. Looking, you have your two amplifiers. Looking at that stuff, it's looking all original, like nothing's been changed. The original filter caps, and we got some 13,000 there at 55 volts. We'll take a look and see if the gentleman wants to upgrade those and change them. I'll measure them first and see how they're working. I've really never had to change any of those. They've never gone bad. Some people want to change them just for long life, but that's always a decision to make. Come over this way. Here's our power supply board. Looks pretty original, so that'll definitely be rebuilt to make sure we're putting out a stable, I can't remember on these, 35 volts, 36 volts. Again, that's why you print out the manual so you're not guessing. But I'll print that stuff out later and show you as I adjust those things. Here's our tuner section. I'm not good at tuners. That's my weak point right now. It's something I'm still learning and need to buy more equipment. So if it's not adjusted correctly, I have a friend that I go to help get those done right now. Hopefully later on I'll get better into that stuff. So, and here's our other side. So, all right, I'll get the bottom open and we'll take a look at that. Okay, here's the bottom, and here's something I want to show you. You can tell that something, let me turn this light off over top, that someone's been in here before. And telltale signs of that kind of stuff, if you're out buying one, look, one of the screws is missing there. One of the screws is missing there. That one, someone had some issues, either bad tools, at the wrong angle, screws kind of chewed up, getting a little rust in there. So this at one time might have been out in a shop or garage, getting a little moisture, and it gets caught up inside there. And so that's something to look at as you're out buying equipment. Missing parts, rust buildup, things like that. So just wanted to show people those issues really quick. Here's a quick close-up. That screw there and that one there are pretty chewed up. I used to have this little bottle of stuff called Sure Grip. It was a graphite stuff you put on the screw, and then you put your screwdriver, your Phillips in there, and it would really grip. I've ran out of that stuff. You could also use a thick rubber band that might help you, or sometimes a little sandpaper. Just get a little chunk of sandpaper, masking tape, something to get a little grip in there. But I'm gonna get those out, and then definitely gonna order some more. I used to have about 100 extra of these screws, but I'm all out of them. I need to order some stuff. But just a couple tips for you. And here's the bottom side opened up. You can see where you can get to your connectors for your amplifier. You have your phono board here. I'll recap those, and I think those transistors are known to be noisy. I need to read up on that and check that out. Here's our tone control board, which we'll get out and clean all the controls. So as you can kind of see, not bad in here. It's kind of clean. So yeah, I'm excited to dig in on this. I know it's gone a little longer already, just showing you some of the things to do. But again, just try to help other hobbyists out there that are like me, that like to do this stuff on the side, but you want to do a good job. That's the main thing, and keep good notes and do everything correctly so that it comes out nicely. All right, going to bring this up slowly. Have a variac plugged into a isolation transformer down below the bench, and I have a meter there so I can watch the voltage and the amps. I have a dim bulb tester, but I lent it out and I haven't gotten it back, and I've been lazy to build a new one. So we're going to do it this way while watching the amperage. It isn't the correct way, but to each their own. Like I said, I'll be watching the amperage on the meter to, if I start seeing it draw much more than an amp, I'll shut it down. So we'll turn it on. We're at 0. We have the unit on, and then we'll slowly bring it up to see what we see. All right, so I'll adjust this over to amperage. All right, So right now we're drawing about 0.165. No lights are lighting up yet. We should have had something by now. We're about 2 amps. What are we at on the voltage? We're at 13 watts, 74 volts. We're not quite up there yet. At 0.200 amps. Oh, I just heard the speaker relay kick in. So we know it's good. 0.282. Let's see here, we're at 89 volts. So we'll bring it up. 99 volts. 103, 106. There we go, we're at 110 volts. There, the lights came on now, so pretty dim. But yeah, so she powered up nice, and the speaker relay. Like I said, it's not the correct way to do it unless you're pretty good at watching the amperage. Where the dim ball tester will suck all the, you know, when it's a high amp, you have something shorted out, that'll do it. I need to do a new one and just install it underneath my bench somehow. So, but that was a quick way to do it. Again, don't try it at home if you're not ready for that. Okay, let's see what this this amp is doing. So I have the scope hooked up, have a frequency of 1000, a 1K frequency going in there. So we'll turn her on. Click. So we have that, and let's oh, I already see some garbage on the left side. Yeah, so it's hooked up. Red is right, and red is hooked up to the channel 2 blue right now. So that's just my little thing. Red is right. But let's bring her up. You see that left channel is really being garbly. Right channel's coming up. Yeah, that left channel is really screwy. So we know we have some work there in that left channel. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start rebuild the power supply, check it out again, and make sure everything still comes up, knowing that the left channel is bad. But at least let's clean the power supply up, and then we'll move to the amplifiers. We'll rebuild the amplifiers, and then we'll move to the tone control board and see what's going on there. So yeah, as I do those steps, I'll kind of show you guys, and if you have questions, I'll try to help you out, or I can at least find an answer for you someplace. Yeah. All right, thanks for joining in on this so far. Okay, rebuilding that power supply. Had that dreaded, I've already cleaned it off, but the glue that the manufacturers used to keep the caps down as they were going through the process, I think it was covered with it there. Clean it though. I use a little fingernail polish remover, acetone, on a Q-tip. Soak it down, let it soak in there for a few. Tight spots like that, you just use your fingernail. If you use a small blade screwdriver, you're going to make scratches and stuff like that. So you can find something small, plastic type. But I just let it soak in a little bit, then just use a fingernail and get it off. And then clean the spot again with some isopropyl alcohol to remove the acetone off of the board. And yeah, do it right. So... okay, the power supply is rebuilt. I measured the resistors and stuff like that while I was in there. I'm going to turn it on here in a second, and we're going to adjust. And it says up here to 35 volt B positive voltage. We're going to connect the DC meter between pins J804, J805, and we'll adjust R806 to 35 volts. Okay, the pins. Don't know if you can see them, they're down in there. 804, 805, and then the trimming resistor is right there. So let me hook those up real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I went the positive to 804, negative to 805. It doesn't stipulate. It'll just show us a negative 35 volts instead of a positive 35 volts when we turn it on. So let's see, let me get a backlit on there. So Turn that away from there. All right, so let's turn her on. Relay clicks, and we're at 33 volts. So we're going to adjust that up a little bit, and you just come to your trimming resistor. It's hard to do while I'm doing this at the same time. The trimming pot, and we 33, 34. And try to adjust her into 35. 35.05. So I'm gonna let that sit just for a few minutes. This usually doesn't drift like the bias setting does, but yeah, I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes and make sure it's there, and then we're going to put it back on the scope and test it out. Thanks. Okay, so I left it set for 10 minutes. Stayed steady at 35.05, so that's fine. Thought I'd show you really quick. You know, like I said, I make notes of the stuff, and I changed the power supply caps out. And what I also do, I have little X's by some of them, and that means for me that I need to reorder parts. As you guys probably know, if you're trying to get nice parts, I use Nichicon, sometimes Panasonic, but I try to stick with the Nichicon, and I try to use for the power supplies the UHW. One spot I use a UPM, but you can see a UBT, which is a high temp, it's 125 volt or 125 degrees Celsius cap. Back to the UHWs, which are the low impedance. I try to use those in the power supplies so that they, you know, perform well. So just a little tip, you know, write down what you're doing, and when you need parts, make little check marks so you know, hey, when you get back to the computer, order some parts. All right, hope that helps somebody out. Get back. I have the receiver hooked up. We just rebuilt the power supply, and I like to check throughout each step. You know, I don't want to go and do the power supply, do both channels, do the tone control, and then test it, and then something be wrong and I not know where to look at. So we're going to test the power supply out. We reset it to 35. It's at 35.05. So I have it hooked up to dummy load. This is a 75 watt receiver, 75 watt. So I have some 8 ohm 100 watt resistors there hooked up to a heat shrink. I have the meter hooked up so we can measure. We know the right channel was working fine last time. The left channel was garbage. So I went to the right because I'm going to see what it's putting out, at least on the right hand side. Speakers, the meter, the scope's hooked up, and doing a 1K signal in through the aux. So let's go ahead. She's shut off. Main speaker system's on. We'll turn it on. Click. We got our click. So we know the protect relay's working. We're drawing, I don't know if you can see on there, we're only drawing 0.278. No, it's 27 watts. Let's go to, there's our volts. There's our amps. We're only drawing 0.292 amps. And so yeah, let's turn her up and see that we're still working. Oh wow, look at that. We've got both channels working out for some reason just by rebuilding the power supply. Wow. What are we pushing on wattage? Right now we're at 12 volts AC. And wow, look at that going. Huh. Up to 18 watts AC before clipping. That's not even rebuilding anything. Wow, that's really strange. Just the power supply. But, you know, feeding both sides. She's still not clipping. She's up to 21. 20, 20 times 20 would be, what, 400 divided by 8. That'd only be 50 watts. I don't have a calculator. So, yeah, we're not clipping at all. So, hey, this is really weird. But it's good. I'm still going to rebuild stuff just so this thing's going to last a while. But, wow, yeah. So, hey, we'll push her a little bit more until we start seeing a little clipping. There we go. We saw a little clipping. And that was at 23. 23, there's no clipping. So, yeah, still going to need to rebuild. I'll have to figure that out. So you can figure it out if you want to. 23 times 23 divided by 8. Tell me watts we were at. And we'll go from there. So we'll keep on going. Like I said, I'm going to rebuild other parts still and do some more testing. So I'll keep you along for the journey.